In today's video, we continue our ranged PvP build streak, and this time around I also have a build that consists of Moonfire spam, although with a twist. You see, there is a talent that makes your Starsurge instant cast and generates basically 5 stacks of it while being in the Lunar Eclipse. This seems amazing, but usually in PvP, the pace is so fast that you don't really have that much time to cast. So for this, we utilize another talent to actually make our Fire Blast rock the Lunar Eclipse, which then allows us to pretty much spam Starsurges for the duration. Everything is supplemented by every possible version of Moonfire available to have some very nice sustained damage on top of all the dots rolling on the targets. This build may not be the best and may not have like the best burst in the game, but is very mobile and fun to play if you're a proc enjoyer basically. And that's who I am. I enjoy procs, I enjoy stuff showing up on my screen to press certain button which then feels like the damage is significant. To be honest, the Starsurge don't really hit that hard. When you will be in like 50 to 59 bracket, you will see crits up to like maximum of 500, which I actually did notice. But those are mostly on lower levels, so usually you get around 300, which is not really crazy, but everything is instant. We have plenty of mobility thanks to that. We can constantly CC people, heal through the incoming damage while the dots burn out enemies, and then pop our Eclipse and burst them down with instant Starsurges. It also has very nice spread damage thanks to the Moonfire, especially if you manage to get a talent that makes your Moonfire cost 30% more, but then spread to additional target basically. That makes the AoE even more powerful and even more fun. And even though this build may not be the best out there, it still does hold its ground, and you can easily top damage and kills in the BGs with it with ease. One big drawback is that you basically have to wait until level 35 to fully utilize the build, although before that, the Moonfires are pretty damn powerful on lower levels, so you can still just progress your levels in lower BGs just by spamming Moonfires. You'll be good to go up from level 10, so it is not so bad. You can potentially increase your AoE potential even more if you happen to roll Sunburst, which is basically an AoE version of the Starsurge that is also available for you instant use with the instant Starsurge talent. If procs sound like fun to you as well, let's hop into the build explanation. Okay guys, so we played this build with intellect stat as a primary. Of course, we want to stack as much as spell power as possible, as much stamina as possible, and to top it off, we take extra crit. Haste is useless because we're not going to be casting anything at all. For starters, I went with Arcane Intellect, Fire Blast, Wrath, and Moonfire. Wrath is not mandatory, but I decided to take it just to have that extra spammable ability, especially on earlier levels, so very nice to have. For the skill cards, we have to take Lunar Aspiration, which is basically the most powerful Moonfire ability in the game. It also costs energy, so it saves up a little bit of mana for ourselves. Sunfire, AoE version of Moonfire, adds up a very nice dot on top of everything. And the Starsurge mandatory for the build. We're going to be spamming this constantly. So those are like 3 slots that have to be taken. Other one are optional, so I took Ice Age for the root, Screams of the Past for the fear and extra damage, and of course Blink for mobility, but it's up to you whatever you want to take. For talents, mandatory things are Eclipse at Dawn, which basically make our Lunar Eclipse generate instant Starsurges. It stores up to 3 charges, but the Lunar Eclipse lasts 15 seconds, which means that in total we're going to generate 5 stacks. So be sure to start spamming those Starsurges as soon as you see the proc showing up, to not waste any uses of the instant Starsurge. Eclipse is also mandatory, of course, because yeah, we need the Lunar Eclipse to actually proc it. Then we take Lunar Fire, which basically makes our Fire Blast trigger Eclipse, Lunar Eclipse. So this makes the build so smooth because we use Fire Blast in the beginning. You go into the Lunar Eclipse, you start applying your Moonfires in the meantime, and then your Dawn talent starts to stack up, and then you can shoot off those instant Starsurges and repeat the cycle every 30 seconds. Usually during Solar Eclipse, I just like to apply the Moonfires and that's it. Usually use Wrath here and there, but I like to stay on the move, so usually it just comes down to the Moonfire spam. We of course take improved Moonfire because we want that extra damage, and the capstone is very nice. Every crit from arcane damage is gonna deal extra damage on top of it. So very nice to have. Critical cycles is very nice because Lunar Eclipse now increases the periodic damage of our Moonfire. This means that when we use our Fire Blast and enter the Lunar Eclipse, before the Dawn starts stacking, we can use our Moonfires, and this means they are being used during the Lunar Eclipse. So they're gonna actually utilize critical cycles and deal extra damage on top of it, which makes this talent very nice. Eclipse Power of the Arcane increases damage of the Starsurge and Starfire by 50%, so very nice to have. And then we come down to 2 talents that I picked for testing, because I missed the mandatory ones, but shush, don't tell anyone. Yeah, Blessed by the Moon. Lunar Eclipse now causes your next Starfire or Starsurge to stun players for 2 seconds. So very nice utility, to be honest, but preferably you want to go for more damage, so that was my mistake, even though the talent is not really that bad. And the other one is Sitting Flames. I don't know why I took it instead of extra damage for Moonfire and Starsurge, but yeah, it was a mistake. So instead of those 2, you want to go for Earth and Moon, which basically on rank 3 increases your arcane and nature damage by 3%, and makes our Starsurge apply Earth and Moon, which increases total magic damage taken by the target by 12%, which is quite a bit, and also has a Mortal Strike effect, which reduces healing, so it's nice for healers and usually people that like to heal. And the other one is of course Moonfury, increases damage of your Starfire, Moonfire, Wrath and Starsurge by 4%. On rank 3 it will be a whooping amount of 12%, which is pretty crazy, to be honest. There's also one talent which I haven't tested and sounds very promising, which is the Ranch Druid. This playstyle is very spammy. We will be casting Moonfires all over the place in Starsurges. The only thing that is not a druidic spell is Fire Blast. But yeah, we have 25% chance to cast additional random druid spell for free. So yeah, I think the chance would be very, very high to cast like extra Wrath or extra Starfire or whatever it is, extra Moonfires. It would be all good. It's all extra damage, so sounds good, but I haven't tested it, so if somebody did use it already, let us know in the comment section below. And last but not least, we go for the Mystic Enchants. We just want to pump as much damage as possible into Moonfire because Starsurge nodes are not available. The only one is the Moonfury because it increases damage of all our spells. Then we go for Powerful Moonfire, 3 stacks, Focused Moonfire, 3 stacks, Improved Moonfire, 3 stacks, Wizard Moonfire for extra spell damage, and I use Intelligent Design for extra nature and arcane damage from abilities by 1%, and Earth and Moon for another extra 1%. So that's how you build this one. Once again, if you enjoy spammy druidic playstyle with lots of procs, then definitely go for it. I wish you enormous crits, and as always, may the RNG gods will be always with you.